beautiful, I'm assuming pregnant mamas, but anyone who's watching this is super beautiful. Thank you for being here today for my 38-week pregnancy update. Oh my gosh. The weeks are dwindling down, and honestly, I've hit that point where it's just like, please just, she can come. She can come. Everything is done. I think I said this last week, but like the meal preps, like I've prepped everything. The freezer is stocked. I can really not fit anything else in there. So I've prepped like oatmeal, like snack bites, black bean burgers, what else? Vegan lasagna, vegan mac and cheese. I got frozen bananas in there. I got frozen Ninja Creamy, like mango sorbet in there. Got frozen buns for the black bean burgers. Like, we are set. And she's still in there. She's still in there. She's just not ready. But before I get too much into the talking segment of this, I will show you the bump. As always, my head gets cut off, but I actually noticed today that it looked like she kind of like, I don't know, kind of shifted her position. It just looks like more elongated to me for some reason. She's definitely down here. Like, I can feel her butt, can feel like a lot of her body parts, and the midwife confirmed that she's really low down in my pelvis. So that's good. Here's the front view and the other side view. So there she is. And I am up to, last time I checked, 190 pounds roughly, which is, what is that? 37 roughly pounds up from my pre-pregnancy. It really depends on the day, but I have noticed like gaining more weight. I don't know if I'm retaining and holding on to more water or what, but that would make sense because the main change in symptoms this week is feet and ankle swelling. I mentioned this the past 2 weeks, but it's gotten to like a new level the past few days, and it gets worse like the longer I stand on my feet, when I'm doing stuff in the kitchen, when we're out and about, like outside. And I'm never like walking for long periods of time, but there are like good chunks of the day where I'm on my feet, like cleaning, organizing, cooking in the kitchen, and things like that. And I noticed that like elevating my feet doesn't really make a big difference. So they're keeping an eye on that. My blood pressure is good, which typically for preeclampsia, you have high blood pressure. So that's something. Some of the other like coinciding symptoms can be like blurry vision, headaches, and I think she said one other thing, which I have, not necessarily blurry vision, but I've noticed the past few days to a week, I get a lot of like, you know, when you see stars and kind of like, what do they call them? I'm just gonna call them stars. You know, when you see like kind of like lights in your vision, and it doesn't only happen when I like stand up quickly. It'll kind of just randomly happen like a few times a day. And so I mentioned that we're gonna keep an eye on it. My grandparents have a blood pressure monitor that I'm going to borrow for the rest of my pregnancy. My midwife said just to take my blood pressure every two times a day, keep track of it up until the next appointment so they can monitor it. My blood pressure is always good though. Like today it was 107 over, I don't remember what the bottom number was, but it was good. It was in the clear. It was like well below 140. So yeah, just keeping an eye on that. That's like a physical symptom. I did mention last week I had that one contraction, but I haven't had a contraction since then. Last night she was moving so much, like very big movements. It almost felt like she was like turning kind of like over and over again. But my midwife did say like literally since 34 weeks, she's been like head down, like really low in my pelvis. area, and she hasn't moved from that position. So she could just be like turning or like moving or adjusting herself, but she's still head down. So that is good. I'm very happy about that. And yeah, so other than that, I still have been experiencing some nausea. Not every single day now. It'll just kind of come on like, again, like little bits in the morning. I will feel nauseous until I've eaten something. And sometimes I'm just like, hey babe, can you like make breakfast? Cause I normally make breakfast. Can you make breakfast? Like I feel nauseous right now. Like I just need to eat something and I don't want to worry about having to make it. And so that will happen. If I eat like large amounts of food, I like feel kind of like the need, like, okay, I need to stretch my body out, and release some gas, just like spread out, because pregnant mamas, you know, like you feel fully expanded. And then if you eat too much, it just feels like your like stomach is just like, I don't know, stretching out of the seams. So yeah, that will happen. And I've always kind of been bad about overeating. It's like, cause you can overeat healthy stuff too, you know? I eat a lot of fiber. I'm vegan. I've been vegan for like almost 6 years now. And so I eat a lot of fiber. And sometimes I'm like, oh, this is like not that many calories, but like it feels really filling because of the fiber. And my digestion has definitely switched up since being pregnant. But let's see, are there any other physical symptoms that I wanted to talk about? Okay, so a couple other things. My midwife did recommend my last appointment, not this one that I just had today, but the previous one, to start pumping for 30 minutes a day to try to like, that can be something that can induce labor, as well as like nipple stimulation and things like that. So I have skipped, definitely, I think I've skipped like 3 days, but the other days I have been pumping, or at least hand expressing, for pretty much 30 minutes. And I've been trying my best to collect as much of the colostrum as I can. It's such a small amount, and it's such like a thick kind of like mucousy liquid. So it's really hard to collect when like it's not like pouring. It doesn't like come out of your boobs like milk does when your milk comes in. And so I have some in like a little frozen baggie, and a lot of people recommended, hey, use syringes so you're not wasting any. I just got so many of the like frozen plastic baggies for milk given to me, and I'm just gonna do my best to, you know, use those, because I don't want to have to buy anything else like for the little amount of colostrum that's coming out. But I've heard it's really can be really good for like skin rashes or like baby acne. So even if I just have a little bit and I thaw it out, that could be good, you know, if she struggles with that. So I've been doing that. I haven't noticed like it like progressing my labor at all. And I have to admit, like, I am really not a fan of pumping. My goal is to exclusively breastfeed like as much as I can, and only pump if I have to like go somewhere and, you know, I need someone to watch her. So they have obviously food to feed her, but I really can't foresee myself leaving her for like very long stretches of time, at least not for a while, where that would even be necessary. So yeah, I'm hoping that the breastfeeding goes good, that she latches on and that I have no issues, so I can just do that. And I'm hoping also it's not like too painful for me, because I know that that can cause you to go to pumping. But yeah, so it just doesn't feel natural to have these things like sucking at your nipples. Like I literally feel like a milk machine. And like, but there's like no milk coming out because it's just a little bit of colostrum. Anyway, so that's kind of been a new experience. Other than that, I talked about the kind of the weight gain. My digestion has been kind of I just feel full more often. My belly, I would say, I don't know, it honestly depends on the time of the day. Sometimes it feels really tight. Right now, other than where her little booty is, which I can feel, the rest is pretty like, it's not overly tight right now. But I did decide to start doing the miles circuit. I just watched a video about it, a couple different videos, and did some research, and it seems like it really works for a lot of people. And you know, I feel safe at 38 weeks and 2 days to start, you know, doing more naturally inducing type techniques. I've been having my raspberry leaf tea pretty much every day. At least I have at least a glass every day. I haven't been doing the like 24 ounces. That was my goal. I haven't been doing that every single day. I really am not a fan of the taste, but I do make it taste better by adding some like soy milk and the dates. And I just like blend it up in a blender, and it kind of makes like a iced tea frothy latte. So that makes it taste better, but it's just so much liquid to get down throughout the day between that and water. And I'm also drinking coconut water for electrolytes. So I'm like trying to get in all these different beverages, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I've been having raspberry leaf tea every day. I've been pretty much having my 6 dates every single day, whether it be added into a beverage or just like eating them, or eating them in desserts, things like that. So I've done those 2 things. Again, I mentioned, I think last week, sex is really uncomfortable, but I have done it, just not every day or anything like that. So that hasn't been like my main induction technique. I've been more going towards the tea, the food. And so I'm going to try this mild circuit. I'm going to try it today. I don't know if I'm going to do the full hour and a half. A lot of people say start off with 10 minutes for each position, see how that goes, and then like slowly add on a little bit of time each day. We'll see what happens, because it sounds like it works for a lot of people. Like I read a lot of comments about it starting up contractions and labor, like actual active labor contractions within hours, if not the next day, with people at the same phase of pregnancy as I am in. And then of course there are people that it doesn't do anything for. So we shall see, but they're typical, pretty much like yoga poses, and I am a certified yoga teacher. So I'm very like confident in being able to do the poses properly and correctly. But holding them for 30 minutes, that could definitely be a challenge with the difference my body is right now. So yeah, so that is an overall physical update as well as a mishmash of other updates. Emotionally, I have been pretty good for the most part. I'm having a really good day today. I noticed that I'm in a better state when I have things to do, and I've made kind of a get-to-do list. That's what I like to call it. And I kind of have things I can check off, like things I can do in the kitchen, things I can do for content creation. I feel better when I'm kind of like staying active and mobile and like just doing things, versus the days where I kind of don't prioritize like creating a list of things to do. And those days I kind of feel like down. I feel a little lonely. My husband works 40 plus hours a week, so he's gone 5 days out of the week for like over 8 hours. And so I'm home alone, doing my thing, doing my content creation, and doing things around the house. But it can get like, if you don't have like a schedule, it can get really just kind of like lonely, and I kind of get in my head and start thinking too much. And that happened yesterday to me, but today I kind of created a list. I had so many things I needed to do, so I don't even like really like think about it. But yeah, so overall emotionally, I've been doing pretty well. I can't say that I'm not nervous about postpartum depression. It's very common. amongst, you know, all women, but even more so for those who struggle with bipolar or have struggled with depression in the past, which I have bipolar 2 disorder, and I've also struggled with depression as well as suicidal ideation and anxiety and all of the things. And so I'm on antidepressants. I've talked about this in some previous updates. And, you know, I'll just do what I have to do. Kind of just be aware of the signs. I've gone through it before. Obviously not postpartum depression. I know that that's kind of a different thing. But I've been through depression before, really bad depression. And so I do know some of the signs. My husband is very aware of the signs, and he will be around at least for the first 6 weeks, every day, all day. So yeah, just gonna keep my eye on it, stay aware with it. I really hope that it doesn't get, I hope I don't get it at all. I hope I'm able to stay in a pretty positive state, but yeah, I just want to enjoy this newborn phase as much as I can because I know it goes so quickly. So that's a little emotional update. And then spiritually, I have been doing my meditation and my yoga still, which is always such a sweet, sweet moment to my day. I've been sharing more about it on my platforms. You've probably seen some of my little prenatal yoga flows on here, as well as on TikTok and Instagram. And it's just been such a nice way to stretch out the body. It feels so good. And such a great way, as always, I say it every week, to just like bring myself into the present moment and release all of the thoughts of like, will I be a good mom? Like the doubts, the fears, the nerves. It's just a beautiful way. It's always helped me to release those thoughts. So that's been beautiful. And I wanted to, so I actually had someone comment asking me to go over some like TMI things about pregnancy. And I thought it would be kind of like a funny thing to do, or a fun thing to do. And some of the main ones for me, like she mentioned in the comment, is like gas and farting in public. That definitely happens. I will say I'm a homebody, so most of the time I am home. But yeah, it's definitely happened in public. I haven't had anyone notice, or at least if they did, they didn't say anything, but that happens. Especially me being like vegan, I eat like a lot of fiber, a lot of beans. So it's kind of something that I always deal with, both me and my husband. So that's always funny, but you know, it's natural. Other than that, I'm trying to think of like, other things have just been like, since I've gotten bigger, like I waddle a bunch. Like there's just no way around it. I'll like walk like holding my back, which kind of makes me feel like I'm like an old person, but I'm sure people are like, oh, okay, well, yeah, she's pregnant, she's having some back pain. I have gone a couple places with my belly band, which always looks kind of ridiculous, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do on those days where like my back was just hurting so badly. I'm always walking around with my gold like Starbucks cup full of water, and I don't know, there's something about it, like holding that and like being pregnant and waddling around, that is just so funny to me. But yeah, sadly I broke that today actually, which was so sad. It cracked and I was just like, okay, well, it is what it is. Some other information, like, which I've pretty much talked about. I'm pretty much an open book on these videos. I sleep pretty much every night completely nude, because I sweat so dang much. And you know, it doesn't matter what the thermostat is on, I sweat so much and I feel gross. Like through the night, and it like kind of soaks up my pregnancy pillow. It's like so bad. But the last couple nights, actually, I haven't been sweating as much. It's been cooler. We've had like a little cold front here in Florida, so that's been nice. So there's that. And then another thing is like when you live alone, you know, just with your husband or your partner, or if you do live alone, the plus is you could just walk around pretty much with no clothes on like all the time. And that is pretty much what I do, because nothing pretty much fits me. I have a few clothes that fit me. And so, yeah, those are kind of some of the some of the funny things, other than me just like kind of having these random symptoms that will just come out of nowhere, which is like lightning crotch, which I've talked about in the past, where it feels like that electric shock like through your vagina, through your pelvis area. That happens all the time, just randomly to me, whether in public or not. Like, I can't control it. And when it happens, you know, I kind of go like, oh, like literally it doesn't matter where I am. I don't care. Like, that is the way I react. And it always freaks my husband out every time. He's always like, are you okay? Are you okay? It freaks him out. But you know, it's just part of it. Some people get it, some people don't. So yeah, those are some of my kind of like TMI, funny, embarrassing things. I can't think of any like really like embarrassing stories that have happened to me. Cause like I said, I'm home most of the time. I work and do like content creation from home. So yeah, I'm lucky in that sense. I'm sure I would have more embarrassing stories if I worked like a normal job that I went to like every day. But yeah, so I hope that kind of answered your question for the person that commented that. If I think of anything else, I will definitely share it in the future. But yeah, so I'm going to get ready now to go do the miles circuit. I will let you guys know how that goes. If it does anything, if it induces labor. If it does induce labor, like I said, you probably won't hear from me. I don't know how long it will take for me to, yeah, be ready to post. I'm super excited about sharing the experience and everything like that. So there will definitely be a birth story. But yeah, so as always, if you don't see me next week, baby girl has come and I'm just taking time to bond with her. But one other thing I wanted to kind of leave this video out on is that my midwife did say that if I don't go into labor by 41 weeks and 1 day, that is when they typically schedule to be induced. I really would like to not be induced. That is why I'm trying all of the natural remedies and methods to get her engaged in the pelvis, opening the cervix, but you can only do so much. So if that were the case, the latest baby girl would be April 5th. So we shall see. I'm really, again, hoping that I don't have to get induced. I would really like to avoid getting Pitocin and like as little intervention as possible, but we'll see. We'll see, because I am worried about my pain tolerance and if I'm going to be able to handle it. So I'm staying open to getting an epidural if I need it. But yeah, so that is where I will leave you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you watched this to the end, you are a trooper. And more than likely, you're probably right around the same stage of 38 weeks. So congratulations. Your baby girl or baby boy is going to be here any day now. And that is just crazy to me. There's a living being inside of your belly. And they're going to be outside of your belly, on your chest, in your arms in no time. But I know these last few weeks, at least for me, are going by pretty dang slow. So you try to your best to stay distracted with things, you know, meal prep, go for walks if you can, exercise, maybe do the mile circuit if that seems like something that feels good for you to do. Just try to distract yourself because you can go crazy just like sitting around waiting. So I'm sending you so much love. If you like this video, give it a like. If you feel like it would entertain or give some value to some other pregnant mamas out there, I would love it if you shared and leave some positive comments and feedback. Where are you in your pregnancy? Down below in the comments. And yeah, sending you so much love, and maybe I'll see you next week. Maybe I won't. We'll see.